Along with farming and ranching, wildlife recreation is a popular and profitable pursuit in the high plains, especially hunting. The Playas, havens for waterfowl and other game birds, are natural draws for sportsmen and women of all ages. Hunting is a traditional pastime in the high plains, and this area takes a hefty slice of the national pie of hunting profits, estimated to be more than $30 billion a year. Wildlife watching has caught up to hunting in popularity and profitability. About 60 million wildlife watchers across America spend more than $30 billion each year pursuing critters. High Plains communities are beginning to capitalize on this trend and are developing wildlife viewing trails across the Playa region. Many of the sites along these trails and other wildlife recreation hotspots are owned by private citizens. Landowners are increasingly expanding their operations beyond farming and ranching to managing land for wildlife.
One of the amazing things that's happened with landowners and the advent of nature tourism is that landowners have had their first opportunity to see that there's an economic value to the whole ecosystem that they help conserve, rather than just the game species as we had learned in the past. There's not just a demand for deer hunting, there's also a demand for just being out in nature, for the opportunity to see what's there, as well as a value to preserving the habitat of birds, of butterflies, of dragonflies. I think the biggest realization for landowners has been that there's an economic impact, an economic return for conservation, and that also they can impact where conservation goes.
Local communities and groups are also beginning to spread the word about the importance of playas. Teachers are educating students about playas in the classroom and in the field. Resource managers are developing playa conservation programs, and landowners are talking with other landowners about playa wetlands.
Grassroots education and outreach allows us to go out into the land and see the bigger community, to get different people together who are often segmented, students, parents, landowners, to come all together to take what we might see in the classroom or a textbook and go out on the land and see how it's acting, see what the flora and fauna are, what things are happening in the playa that we never see otherwise because we're too far away, to see the cracks where the recharge can take place, and to see the difference between something that's healthy and vibrant and something that's really declined, and then to be able to act on that.
Playas are probably one of the most misunderstood and underappreciated resources of the high plains. Ancient man knew the presence of the playas and their importance as a water source, and yet modern man, even residents who have long lived in this region, often don't realize they're here and their ultimate importance to our water cycle here in the high plains. It's easy to drive by on a highway and completely ignore the playas and not even know they're here. It's only when you get out and walk in them and get amongst them that you begin to understand what there is out there, a vital resource, a vibrant source of life here on the plains, that it would be a tragedy to let pass.
Loss and continued degradation of playas that has been observed over the last 5 or 10 or 20 years will have a devastating effect on birds of this area as well as the entire ecosystem, because playas are keystone ecosystems to the shortgrass prairie portion of the Great Plains, and loss of those playa wetlands will have a devastating effect on waterfowl, but also on animals, plants, and people that depend upon playas in order to survive in this area.
The high plains cannot afford to lose any more playas. Thousands of farmers, ranchers, and rural communities, as well as millions of birds and other wildlife, depend on the playas for their life and livelihood. Without playas, the Ogallala aquifer will dry up even faster. Without playas, wildlife populations will continue to decline. Every High Plains resident has a stake in protecting playas. Farmers, ranchers, elected officials, teachers, students, everyone has a role to play. If you live in the High Plains region and want to learn more about how you can help conserve playas, visit the Playa Lakes Joint Venture website at www.pljv.org.